a man make mistakes? Is he eligible for redemption? Will it really hurt your spirit to make this one exception? If I did you wrong, am I wrong for doing you wrong? If we get back on and make a promise to get along, would you take me back? My bad, I'm back. Would you take me back? My bad, I'm back.
Yo, what's happening? It's the Big D from the Big D channel. We on a marathon today, knocking out some videos today and commentary and all that. So we gonna jump right in here and see what's going on with these particular stories, see what we can decipher from it. Y'all let me know what you think. Like and subscribe to the channel. It'll help me tremendously. Hopefully you're liking the new setup and all that. I think I got it kind of squared away here. A way to do this where it's a little more advantageous and more fun and more palatable for everybody. So hopefully this works out for all of us. So can y'all see my eyes there? Beautiful brown eyes. Just playing with y'all. But let's jump right in here to a story. Let's see what we got going on here. This is from the divorce Reddit. Says transportation okay 328 says wife wants to leave to grow more as a person. I'm completely lost and just need some kind of hope. I'm honestly just so lost right now. A lot of this will likely just be ramblings. My wife and I have been together for 12 years, married for 6 of that. We got together at 19 and we've both changed a lot from when we met. Okay, yeah, they got married real young right there. So, you know, if you get married, you know, or you get together at 19 or whatever, and then you get married, what, 6 years after that, looks like, yeah, you're going to do a lot of growing during that time, right? So you're going to grow from 19 to 25, you can be a wholly different person. And from 25 to 30, you could be much different person, you know? So I can see where some things could change here. So from the beginning, she's had severe anxiety, and I always pushed her and supported her every step of the way. I helped guide her into therapy. I paid for driving lessons. I gave her rides to and from work for years and never once complained about it because it really wasn't a big deal to me. I'm so immensely proud of the woman she is today, and I wanted her to have that independence her anxiety held her back from. Okay. For the last year, she's been finding intimacy difficult. She kept saying it was a her issue and nothing to do with me at all. I know I messed up here, but I trusted her and said I'd give her all the space she needed. I continued to love and care for her. I just stopped any pressure for sex outside of once a month doing a check-in to confirm that she's working on it and if there was anything I could do to help. Now, 2 weeks ago, she sits me down and says that she doesn't think we're compatible, that she loves me but is not in love with me. I'll be honest, the rest of our conversation I can barely remember. Still feels like a complete gut punch. She says that she just doesn't want to be married or in a relationship at all, that she can't grow as a person while, let's see if we've got the rest of this. That she can't grow as a person while she's still with me, and that she just isn't happy being with me. She says that there is no chemistry between us anymore, that she's a different person entirely from when we got married, and this new person isn't compatible with me. That she feels awful and so guilty because I've done nothing wrong, and she can't stay out of guilt. She broke down crying here because she said that she just can't find anything wrong with me, which is why it took her so long to figure this out. I'm kind, loving, smart, understanding, etc., and in always a perfect partner. Okay, so we're gonna kind of stop there, whatever. We're gonna go back. Let me go back to this part here. How much money are we gonna put on the fact that she probably got a different dude in her DMs, or she met somebody at work or something, or there's something else going on here. She met somebody. Trust me. They don't move on unless they have somebody already, right? They got somebody in mind, or they got somebody they think is what they want. And that person's probably been talking to her or whatever and chatting in her ear or whatever, telling her how great he is and how it'd be great for her to be with him when all he really probably trying to do is hit. And this is probably going to end in a bad way. I can just already see it. You guys were very young when you got married, or at least got together. So she hasn't been with anybody. She didn't go through the 304 phase, right? She was 19. I mean, unless she was super sexually active, and it don't sound like she probably was before you guys got together at 19. I just don't get that, because now she's saying she's finding intimacy difficult. So you would think that she'd be comfortable with you and being intimate with you or whatever. She's known you for a long, long time now. You've been together 12 years. So I feel like the time just ran out for her, and she's probably thinking that she missed out. I feel like she feels like she missed out on maybe being out with her friends and partying and, you know, having random hookups and things like that with guys or whatever. And maybe she just feels like, you know, what you've done for her is great, but she hasn't had the experiences in life that she needs to have or that she wants to have. So it sounds like you guys are in the same age range. It's not an age gap difference thing. I've seen that before, where somebody, you know, older is marrying somebody younger, and then, you know, it just, that younger person starts to grow into who they are, and then it kind of falls apart. But you guys are kind of the same age or whatever. So, and I think your focus has been on her. It looks like she's needed a lot of things, right? You got her into therapy, it says. Go over here so you guys can see too if you want to be reading that. You got her into therapy. You even took her for driving lessons and all that stuff. You were giving her rides to work back and forth or whatever when she couldn't do it for herself. So you were taking on a lot of responsibility, almost like a parent takes on. And so maybe she kind of just went from maybe her parents taking care of her in that way, and then now she just kind of migrated over to you taking care of her that way. And now she's like, oh, I've almost kind of just been with another version of my parents. Maybe that's what it is. I can't really say, but, you know, you've done everything that you can do. You've invested a lot in her. And I think that's one thing that we as men do a lot. I always tell the girls here too, like here in Rio, I always tell the girls, like, listen, you know, I know you just met this American dude or whatever, and he's telling you all these lies and all of this stuff or whatever, but you're going to know how he feels about you by the way he invests in you. Is he trying to make your life better? You know, so it looks like you trying to make her life better. You've done a lot of things to make her life better. You've kind of taken it from being 19 years old, maybe getting married at, say, 25, you've been 6 years or whatever, maybe you got married at 25, 26. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility for a young man that really could be out in the streets doing crazy stuff, you know what I mean? So, but saying it's a her issue for not wanting to be with you sexually, or give you any intimacy, yeah, she's either found somebody else, or she's potentially got somebody else that she wants to experiment with, and she wants to be able to have that experience. That's just what it sounds like. So she gave you an excuse that it was her issue or whatever, and then you tried to be what we're told that men should be and what we think that we should be, which is loving and kind and compassionate. And oh my God, yeah, I'm gonna help you, and I want you to have your space, and I want you to be fulfilled, and I want you to find yourself, and all this stuff. When in actuality, all she's really doing is pushing you away. So I feel like as men, we need to learn a lesson from this. One, people cannot be in your life the way that they want to be in your life. You need to have people in your life the way that you need them in your life. I think that's the best thing, right? So don't let them run this game on you or whatever. Oh, I just need to do this and I need to do that or whatever like that. It's like you can love a person from a distance. You ain't gotta love them up close. You can love them from a distance. Be like, look, okay, great. I understand that's what you want, and you're having an issue or whatever, you can't be intimate or whatever. Okay, let's try to get you a therapist or whatever, somebody that you can go talk to, and try to deal with it or whatever, and let's try to see if we can kind of work through it. But I'm going to tell you this up front: if this activity is going to continue, then our relationship is going to end. I think you have to be that upfront about it and that blunt about it. Even if you don't want the relationship to end, you have to protect yourself. Your emotional side, your spiritual side, your physical side, or whatever. She's already showing you that she's on a path out the door. Open the door and let her go. If somebody's going to take your problems, I've said it a million times, if somebody's going to take your problems from you, let them have your problem. And let her go find out what the world is like. So, now, she's progressed from bad to worse, right? So now you're not being intimate with her. After all the investment in her, I'm sure you're paying for a lot of things or whatever. And now all of a sudden you're not compatible. You've been compatible for 12 years. She loves you, but she's not in love with you. Nah, bruh. You'll need to remember the rest of the conversation, because she's found someone else. And it could be a guy, it could be a girl. But she found somebody else who she feels like is going to fulfill her. And I think that you've done what you could do. Like you said, I did everything I could. You're encouraging. You're a good man to her. You're helping her. You've given her space to try to get better and to maybe understand. And all that's done is given her space to run further. So I would say you probably are in a situation where this is over. And I think that you need to intimate that to her. So, you're saying like, going to couples counseling, whatever. I see it here. It says I convinced her to go to couples counseling, but she initially didn't want to go at all. So she didn't want to even take care of the issue. So she's not interested in fixing the issue with you at all. So if she's not willing to go to counseling, then she's not interested in fixing the issue. So what's the point of going through it? You got to kind of let this one go. Happens to the best of us. But you're going to have to let her go. Right? So he's saying here she's always been a logical, level-headed woman. And she's smart. So you don't think that she's using that logic and those smarts to kind of like figure out how to push you away? She's just dragging out the process of pushing you away because she knows she's wrong for how much you've invested in her. She knows that it's the wrong thing to do. She's just trying to gradually like sneak away. That's what I see. And she's willing to ruin everything for whatever it is she thinks is out there that's shiny and shining in front of her face and thinking that is great. But all I'm going to say is you probably should extract yourself from that situation as quickly as possible, because that's not going to get no better. So I don't think that we have to go through too much more of that. I think there's a lot going on with that story or whatever. I think we're going to pass up on that. So we're going to move on to something else. All right, so here in the not safe for work portion of the divorce Reddit, says still physically attracted to my ex-wife. I mean, I can see where that's possible, you know what I'm saying? So this is why you don't marry ugly people. At the end, you still want to be attracted to them, be like, well, at least they were attractive, because you don't want somebody yelling at you and taking your money and everything else, and you thought they were ugly. I mean, how does that work? Anyway, hello, everybody. I know this isn't a new topic or whatever, but I need to vent a bit probably and read stories and advices perhaps from you who are or were in this situation. Backstory: 12 years of relationship, 10 years of marriage, 4 kids, all of them minors. I'm a 33-year-old male, now divorced for a bit more than 2 years. For some time, I didn't know how to explain why we separated. It hit me hard because I was never seriously even thinking about that. Otherwise, I would not have 4 kids. I've been mentally destroyed for so long. Then I concluded it being while there were 2 of us against the world, we thrived. When we started against each other and the world, it all went south. What I mean by that is that the reasons for divorce were not any of the classics like cheating, domestic violence, alcohol, drugs, or whatnot. Literally zero hard reasons. Yes, distance, toxicity, manipulations, etc., can be included in the story. And it left a complete mess of me. Apart from other problems I have, this one bugs me the most, as I don't want it, but I want it. The problem is, even after 2 years, I find her sexually attractive and want to hit her. So for those of you that don't know the lingo, hit is not strike like this. Hit is something else. He wants to have sex with her, right? He does want this. So to the dumbest of all, I did, or we did, have sex after separation on and off. I do not find her attractive in any other way. I don't want her back in my life by any chance. Way past that. I don't hate her either, but I still find her hot. And she is. And there are days when I just want to get busy. So nothing more, just that. Zero emotions. Then when it happens, or when it happened before, the post clarity hits in and I stop it. Says my brain gets messed up and I do the same thing again. I know I'm something or other, and I just need to cut that sexual bond. All right, so let's see. I don't know if we got more of that, but yeah. So what I'm getting from this is that you had a hot woman or whatever like that. You were attracted to her when you met her, and you still have that attraction, and that's really the way that it should be. I mean, you've been married for a long time. You had 12 years of marriage, and you've been together like 10 years. This is somebody that you know physically. You've probably had a lot of intimacy with this girl or this woman, and you had enough to have 4 kids, together or whatever. So yeah, you're gonna be attracted to her. So I don't think this as a man is something that's so wrong. What I do think is wrong, and I think is toxic, is you not being able to let go. I'm not saying you have to let go. If she's down with just having a session once in a while between you two, and she's down to do that, then as 2 adults, you guys got to decide that, right? I think it's better to have that than to be fighting each other and, affecting the kids in that way. This is something that you guys can have together or whatever and not affect the kids. But, I would think that at some point, if she's that fine, then she's going to have a new man. So, well, all I'm going to say is, I think that it'd probably be better to cut the ties, because now you're putting yourself in a position where you're desiring something that might at some point move on to another dude. And I don't think, as, a proponent of or supporter of the bro code, I don't think that you go and mess with somebody's chick now. She's not your girl anymore and she's with dude, then don't mess with her. I know a lot of guys would be like, oh, well, she wants to do it, so I'm just going to do it anyway. But I think that it just brings problems, right? It brings confusion. It brings problems. You're creating confusion in their relationship. You're creating confusion in your mind. You're just not strong enough to let go. And you're fixating on one woman when there's millions of women out here. So you can go do something else, man. Experience something else. There got to be another woman. You got her, so why you can't get another one? I would kind of, I would say, once it kind of gets to that point where you realize, okay, there's going to be other people in the picture, then you both got to kind of drop that. And I think it's better to drop it beforehand, because you don't want to get into a situation where one person finds somebody new, but the other person hasn't. So now it's disjointed, because it's one person wants to continue this and the other person is I just want to move on. And now this other person is left out there hanging, right? And then constantly trying to get back into that situation, right, with you, right? So presenting themselves, causing problems in your relationship. Y'all might be in the same restaurant one night or whatever, and now this fool gonna come over here and do something crazy, something whatever, because she see you with a new chick, so you want to just kind of break that off at some level, right? You don't want to keep that going. I mean, it's different if both of you are not going to date anybody ever again, but I don't think that's the case, right? You already said she's hot, so it's dudes hollering at her all the time. So once she finally has something or whatever, you're going to just be like the third wheel, and you don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so he says, I'm going to read the edit because it seems like he he got some, some thought processes going and some ideas going. He said, I had quite a long walk of music and thoughts after this post. And it occurred to me that one reason for this might be due to she being my anchor in good or bad stuff for most of my adulthood. And now I don't have it anymore. Okay, so now we really getting into something, right? Says, logically, the next in line would be friends and family. But in my case, we can disregard that. I also notice that I have those urges and irrational actions when I'm in a bad spot in life, when I need comfort, or just have the F the world, I'll rest with you moment. That's an interesting statement, right? F the world, I'll rest with you moment. When I'm motivated about various stuff in my life, work, etc., and I feel good, I literally do not think of this post content at all. I feel good and thrive, but when I'm down, feeling in need of support, etc., it happens. Usually, I'd want emotions, cuddles, kisses, etc., but since I'm not interested in that, only sex offers that escape from reality. So, okay, so yeah, this is actually getting into something a lot deeper, right? So, very cool and introspective. I'm glad that he actually was able to walk and kind of get that thought out, and he used some music to kind of bring that out of him, and just being really, understanding of himself. I think this is a person that's self-aware, or at least is becoming awake to himself and understanding what's really going on here. Now, this brings a lot of clarity to it. So, like he says, he always had probably like his parents or whatever. We talked about this just a little while ago, right? Having parents that support you, and then you kind of move right into a relationship with somebody, and that person becomes your emotional support. And because of that, now whenever he's got an issue, whenever he's up or down, I mean, especially when he's down, then he's running to her, right? She was there when in the ups and the downs. So she's proven herself to be a real support system for him. And now he's lacking that. He doesn't have anyone else that he feels like he can go to kind of deal with the stresses that he has, or if he's feeling down or maybe depressed or some other stuff is going on in his life, it's not going as well as he wants it to go, then he's like, he kind of turns to her, and it's like he's looking for the intimacy or whatever to be what gets him through that. That's his remedy and his medicine for that. And so I think he's going to have to kind of let that go. I think realizing it is the first step, right? So being able to just diagnose that on your own is very cool. That's very cool. As a man, that's what we need to be able to do. We need to be able to look at ourselves, shine a light on the parts that we don't like to see, and be able to actually come up with, things that we kind of are contributing to a situation, right? We need to be able to see that and be real honest with ourselves, because that's how you work on yourself and be ready for the next person. So I think that he's kind of starting in that direction. Sometimes maybe writing stuff down. That's why I like the Reddit kind of situation, because it forces people to write it down, forcing you to write out your thoughts, right? So he's writing it down, and as he's writing it down, now he can go back and think about what he wrote. He can probably read through it and go, oh, but let me think about what other things that might be affecting this situation, what I've written. Let me go through it and write it. So I like that he's done that introspective thinking. I think as men, and on the Big D channel, that's something that we'll promote, is a lot of introspective thinking. Looking inside, finding out where we can improve at, because as men, we should always be improving, right? So yeah, this was a pretty good one. So I'm gonna leave it on that. I don't think I want to cloud anybody's mind. I want everybody to leave with that thought. Let me learn about me. Let me find out what it is that I need to do to help myself and to be better for the next person or whatever. And what kind of crutches do I have in my life? What kind of things am I leaning on that maybe I shouldn't be leaning on? Maybe I can stand up a little bit and not lean on that so much, especially if it comes to another person, because there's no guarantee that person's going to be there, right? What happens when they're gone? They could be gone for a number of reasons. Maybe they just disappear. Maybe they, don't want to be with you no more. Maybe they die. It can happen, right? So we don't want to be out here lost and emotionally not able to connect with ourselves, emotionally not able to connect with people, because we're not we're not working on ourselves. So I think the introspection is a good thing. I'm going to leave it right there for today. This is the Big D channel. Thank you for checking us out. Like and subscribe if you can. Binge watch the videos. I need your help. But yeah, it's your boy D, the Big D. Let's get it. Ciao.
Can a man make mistakes? Is he eligible for redemption? Will it really hurt your spirit to make this one exception? If I did you wrong, am I wrong for doing you wrong? If we get back on and make a promise to get along, would you take me back? My bad, I'm back. Would you take me back? My bad, I'm back.